Alright, hello everybody, Zaxter99 and solo indie game developer Zaxter Games on Steam. Currently working on my 10th Steam game right now. Guys, I want to go ahead and state for the record that I think the passion I have for gaming, the passion I've had for gaming ever since I was a kid, shows in almost every indie game review that I do. Whether it be finding a Zaxter's Any Gold and finding a game that I feel like is a fantastic value for you guys, my viewers, a fantastic value for me, a game that I really enjoy, or even in my miss videos when I find some of the worst crap and laziest asset flips and laziest cobbled together asset trash on Steam, and those games make my miss series the worst games that I could possibly imagine or find, you still hear the passion in my voice. When I tell indie developers when I'm reviewing one of their games, and you hear me talking about things I think a indie developer could add or easily change to make their game better, you hear the passion, the gamer in me. And I have always been an extremely passionate gamer. I love finding, an indie gem that's been buried that nobody has even found, and finding it and found out, wow, this is a great value, this is a great little gem, and bringing that up to my YouTube page to show you guys, hey, this is a great little game, this is a fantastic value, and it's buried under all these asset flips and stuff like that. Here it is, guys. Check it out. Nothing is more rewarding to me than that. When I started making my own indie games back in 2017 and launched my first game, Rock and Roll, back in 2017, I wanted to at least be one fucking passionate indie developer who gave a fuck about what I was delivering to you guys as customers of Steam. I wanted to believe deep down in my heart and soul that I was creating at least a game that I found enjoyable, that I personally enjoyed. Because so many indie developers now launch these asset kits and asset flips and asset trash that they wouldn't even enjoy playing themselves. You can see me playing the games and see how buggy they are, how just dead bone dry they are, and you know at looking at the game that the person that developed that game doesn't give a fuck about playing the game themselves. They're not trying to make a game that they enjoy. They're simply trying to cash in on a survival game that they know will probably make them money or whatever. You compare that to somebody like me who really pours my heart and soul into the games that I make. And yes, I understand they're all 2D. Yes, I understand that I'm not a great artist. I can't make and draw some of the best art on Steam. But I do what I do with my heart. I put my heart into the little drawings that I make. I spend a lot of time doing the little scribbles that I make and drawing what I do. And I feel it's kind of like the old handwritten letters, right? How many of you guys would rather get an email from somebody you love or care about or a significant other? How many of you guys would rather get a text message or an email? And I'm not talking about speed. I'm talking about how many of you guys would rather get a quickly typed email than a handwritten letter, if you were being completely honest. And I kind of feel like a lot of my games are kind of like that handwritten letter. They may not look the best. They may not, look like a super polished, amazing computerized art and all this stuff like that. But at least the games that I make are hand drawn with my mouse on a screen and doing the best I can. And I do believe my art has gotten better over the last 5 years. I believe all my games have gotten better as I get more and more experience and everything with them. But my heart and my passion and my soul has went into every one of the games that I've made on Steam. Guys, it's disheartening to me that I try to give the customers that I have a sequel with Poggers 2. I know that Poggers 2 seems to be really loved by a lot of people on Steam. A lot of people have many, many hours in the game, and it has well over a 90% positive review rating, and it's by far my best-selling game and has made thousands of dollars since I launched it back in 2019. So I figured, why not try Poggers 2 and give people kind of a maze-themed Poggers, kind of how Poggers was, taking inspiration from Frogger. Poggers 2 would take inspiration from the Pac-Man games of the 80s, but add my own flavor and flair to them, just like I did with Poggers, making him kung fu cobras instead of just running across a road full of cars. I really thought there would be interest in the game. I really thought people would be excited. Not everybody. but that 0.1% or whatever, that very small a niche market, I thought there would be a lot of passion and excitement for Poggers too. So I ran a 45-day fundraiser on Kickstarter, which I linked on the main Poggers page, to try to get anybody that wanted to donate and get an early copy of Poggers, get an exclusive golden bunny that nobody else could ever get. I figured I would reward people that donated at least like $5 or $10 with credits in the game, that kind of thing. And I ran it for 45 days. I only set a goal of $200 just so the funds could help me at least buy some custom-made music for the game. And it's super disheartening as an indie game developer to see so many like almost scam games put up on places like Kickstarter and raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. Games like, what am I thinking? The Day of Dragons. They made over $500,000 and then launched nothing but an empty world full of dragon assets and really nothing more. So many games that don't even launch, that get hundreds of thousands of dollars on Kickstarter and then either launch completely broken, or it just seems like the developers don't care. And here I am simply trying to make $200 for a game that I'd pour my heart and soul into to try to give Poggers fans a sequel. And it raised $2. $2 is what it raised in a 45-day period. So while I was going to originally launch Poggers 2 and try to put it out this fall, I was looking at maybe November. After thinking about this, guys, I'm like, no. Why would I want to rush and put all my energy and heart and soul this fall into launching Poggers 2 when there seems to be like no interest for it? So let me go ahead and read you the update I just wrote for the Poggers 2. You guys can see this on the Poggers 2 Steam page. Hello all. Bun-Bun will have to wait to launch on Steam. Poggers 2 had absolutely zero interest in a 45-day Kickstarter I set up just trying to raise the funds to support even a single basic custom song to be paid for. $200 was the goal, and it failed with only $2 in 45 days. The link to the Kickstarter and information about Poggers 2 was all available as news on the Poggers store page even before the Kickstarter started. I wasn't expecting a lot of interest or to make a lot of money, but it's disheartening to see that it failed even with such a low goal set. After much thought, since that fundraiser ended, I've decided to put all my energy and focus into the sequel when there obviously seems to be no interest at all for it. I cannot begin to explain how hard it is to be a passionate indie developer who enjoys bringing my games to life and who enjoys creating games that I myself enjoy playing. I definitely don't launch asset flips, nor do I launch games quickly made with little effort put into them. Every game I've launched on Steam to date has had a minimum of 120 hours of work put into it. Many of the games have had much more time invested into them. I also refuse to launch a game if I feel it's not really fun to play myself. If I get a game almost completed and then find that it's just not as much fun as I thought it would be initially when I was working on it or when I got the idea for it, I don't launch it. This is exactly what's happened with games like Balls Mania and Rock and Roll Geoswars and why they have been delayed. Please understand that Poggers 2 Amaze Fame will still be developed and launched here on Steam, but right now it's extremely difficult to find the inspiration to make this game a priority with what feels like just non-existent interest and demand for the game. Sincerely, Zaxter Games, the low-end game developer. So you guys can certainly comment here. You can comment over here on the post on Steam, whatever you want to do, or you can simply move on. So it is what it is, guys. It's just, maybe I'm venting, maybe I'm just making a video to vent about how frustrating it is to be an indie game developer and watch so many asset flips games and so many completely low effort trash games on Steam do so much better than games that really have a lot of heart and soul put into them for myself. And not only from me, but there's also a lot of other indie games and indie game developers that I know have felt this exact heartache that I'm feeling tonight. Anyway, guys, I'd love to know what you guys have to say about this. Be sure and chime in down in the comments below. You can feel free to be honest with whatever you're thinking. But this has been Zaxter99, and Zaxxer games as well. And eventually I will move on to the Unreal Engine 4. It is the engine I decided to move into at some point here soon. But, I still refuse to just go to Unreal and just buy asset kits and launch, empty or incomplete games, or just load up an empty map full of marketplace assets and hit export and call it a game. You're never going to see that from me. All my games are going to feel complete, feel good, feel fun, or I won't launch them no matter what engine they're made in. And that's my promise to you guys, my viewers, promise to anybody that buys one of my games. You may not enjoy every game that I make. You may not enjoy any of the games I make. But one thing is for sure, I definitely put all my heart, soul, passion, and a lot of time into the games that I do make. Whether you like them or not, whether most people like them or not, the thing is I play my own games, and almost every game that I've created, I have over 100 hours of playtime into it. And some games like Rock and Roll have close to 500 hours of game time put into it by myself. Anyway, feel free to chime down below, guys. This has been Zaxxer 99. A little bit disheartened tonight. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.